You know, he doesn't know, he doesn't know the language, but because Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is making dua, Allahumma hablana ghina la yudghina, wa sihhatan la tulhina, wa aghnina Allahumma bifadlika amman aghnitahu anna. Simple words in our words, Allah give me health, Allah give me wealth. But the words of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah give me such wealth which doesn't make me negligent from your deen. You see a person, he's rich, now he doesn't have time for deen. Because he's having money coming in, and he wants more, so he doesn't have time for his deen. Then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, oh Allah, give me health, but such health which makes me more obedient to you. Not such health that makes me more obedient to other things. A person is so healthy, instead of coming to the masjid, he's going to play football. So that health is taking him away from the masjid. If he's performing salah, then going for football, alhamdulillah. But if he's missing out while in football, then that health is not taking him towards Jannah, that health is taking him towards Jahannam. That is Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So try to learn this dua of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So inshallah, everybody make an intention that from these 10 lessons, we will try to do first thing, we will try to learn one great lesson from the life of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as we have done today, that if we embrace the life of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then Almighty Allah will not only help us spiritually and not only help us in the hereafter, but Almighty Allah will also help us materially, and Almighty Allah will also make us progress in this world as well. So that's the first lesson we learn. And inshallah from today we make an intention of having 10 times durood on Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that is the second thing. The third thing, the dua of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Hazrat Hakim ibn Hizam. If I have time, you can ask me as well, you can ask other ulama, alhamdulillah there are many here, you can ask the imam, you can read from other books as well. Try to learn the dua of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, try to get it written down, and then inshallah try to make a habit of reading it every day. So, and the third thing we have to do is try to bring one sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam into our life. The one sunnah. In our studies to say, the difference between us and the Sahaba is that the Sahaba used to do something because of it being a sunnah, and today we leave it out because of it being a sunnah. That's the difference. They used to do something because of it being a sunnah, and today we leave it out because of it being a sunnah. The difference. Today we say, oh, it's only a sunnah, and we leave it out. And the Sahaba used to do it because of it being a sunnah, and today we leave it out because of being a sunnah. That is the difference between us and the Sahaba. One sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is very famous hadith, and I'm sure most of you know it better than me. The person, man tamassaka bi sunnati in the fasadi ummati, the person who sticks to my sunnah in the days when there is fasad everywhere. And then according to another riwayat, another hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, man ahya sunnatan min sunnati qad ubidat ba'di, the person who revives one of my sunnah which has already been dead, which was dead, nobody knew about it, and he revived it, then for him is the reward of 100 martyrs. Try to conclude inshallah. For him is the reward of 100 martyrs. So what does this mean? We haven't understood this hadith. Our Ustad explains it very beautifully. That for example, a person, he loses something. He lost something, he lost his mobile, he lost his keys, he lost his bicycle or something. Now he's going here and there, and you see my phone, you see my keys. So then he can't find it, he's looking all over the place, he can't just find it. So then he puts a little sign. He puts a little sign somewhere that anybody who finds this thing, then can you return it, and anybody who returns it, then he will get such and such a reward. Now the reward he has set for the person who finds that thing is not the actual value of the thing which he is looking for. So the mobile will be worth £100, but the reward he's put is £10. It's only a fraction of the actual thing. So the reward for reviving that sunnah and the reward for sticking to that sunnah is 100 shaheed, is 100 martyrs. The reward for that sunnah itself, not even I know, not even you know, only Almighty Allah knows. The reward of the sunnah itself, not even I know, not even you know, only Almighty Allah knows. Just for reviving that sunnah, and just for sticking to that sunnah, Almighty Allah will give you the reward of 100 shaheed, the 100 martyrs. But for acting on that sunnah itself, I don't know how much Almighty Allah will give you. If just for reviving the sunnah, Almighty Allah is ready to give you 100 shaheed reward, then can you just imagine the reward? And I'm sure you won't be able to imagine, because Jannah is something which nobody can imagine. That's why Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the person who loves me, loves my sunnah, loves me. And the person who loves me will be with me in Jannah. The person who loves me will be with me in Jannah. Today, we want to have a house close to this person, close to the market, close to the... In Jannah, people will be looking for a house. And the more closer, the more expensive. Today we want, because we are so far away from the actual capital city. So that is why the houses are a bit cheap. When you go towards the capital city, it started getting more and more. So by the time you get to the actual city, capital city, then the reward is so high. Then the price of the houses are so high, that same 1-bedroom house you can buy a 5-bedroom house here. Same amount. But because it is so close. So to get a house in Jannah is one thing, and to get a house close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Jannah is another thing. To get a house in Jannah is one thing, and to get a house close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is another thing. And how can we get the close house of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the person who loves my sunnah loves me, and the one that loves me, he will not only have a house close to Jannah, Almighty Allah will give him with me in Jannah. That's the only house in Jannah. Almighty Allah will give him with me in Jannah. So if you want to be close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you will say, how is it possible? How is this going to happen? If I want to be close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as well, he wants to be close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as well, he wants to be close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as well, and there will be people from all around the world who want to be close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as well, they make dua as well, and they are sure to love Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as well. So there will be millions of people around Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so I will still be far away. I will still be far away, because there will be so many crowds around him. I won't be that close to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the answer to that is that the closeness of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Jannah, Almighty Allah, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said it, that you will be close to me, and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said you will be very close to me. We may start thinking that I will be far because there will be so many people around him. Almighty Allah, when you have true love, Almighty Allah will make you closer to him. Even if there are million people, Almighty Allah will keep all the millions close to him. But how will that happen? Only Allah knows. How will that happen? Like sometimes we just imagine that how will we look at Almighty Allah in Jannah? How will we look at Almighty Allah in Jannah? Because there will be so many people trying to look at Almighty Allah. So how will we look at Almighty Allah in Jannah? So they were in this, thought of mind that, how is it possible? We will be looking at Almighty Allah in Jannah, and there will be millions, the whole mankind, billions of people there. They're all trying to look at Almighty Allah. So they'll be pushing, everything going on there. So they came to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and they asked the Nabi of Allah that, O Nabi of Allah, you explain to us how will this be possible? Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what did he say? That is there any pushing when you're looking at the moon? Is there any pushing taking place when you're looking at the moon? Everybody is looking at the moon. Have you ever seen anybody pushing each other? Say if there is no pushing for the moon, can you just imagine, will there be any pushing for the person that created the moon? The one that created the moon, to look at him, will there be pushing taking place? So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he simple words, small words, but Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he has the answer for everything. And today our life has all the question of our life, and the answer to our life is all in the life of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So one sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the sunnah of miswak. This is a very great sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If you are not doing it, then inshallah try to make intention of doing it from today. And if you are already doing it, then try to do it. Try to keep it a habit of doing it, and inshallah try to stick to it. Somebody was telling me, somebody actually showed me a book, 2 or 3 years ago, about this great alim, He actually wrote a book that, the main purpose of miswak is to clean the mouth. The main purpose of miswak is to clean the mouth. And cleaning of the mouth can also be done by toothbrush. So if you don't use the miswak and you use toothbrush, you get the same reward. I said this person haven't understood the deen. I said this person haven't understood the hadith. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says there are 2 reasons for doing miswak. There are 2 reasons. One is the cleansing of the mouth, the other is the pleasure of Allah. One is the cleansing, midharatul lil-fam, maghdatul lil-rab. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the reason you do miswak, there are 2 reasons. It cleans your mouth, and the second reason, it makes Allah happy. In toothbrush, you get the first one, you can't get the second one. In toothbrush, the mouth is clean, but you can't get the hair. If Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam just said that cleaning the mouth makes Allah happy, then you could have used anything to clean the mouth. you could have used anything to clean them off. Because just in itself cleaning the mouth makes Allah happy. But Rasul Sallallahu didn't say cleaning the mouth makes Allah happy. Rasul Sallallahu said miswak, using miswak cleaning the mouth makes Allah happy. So he cannot be substituted. And Alhamdulillah, scientific have proven, that we don't need to go into all that. We need to stick to what Rasul Sallallahu tells us. That is something, if the science is telling us all the things, and then, we try to believe the science, try to fit the ways of Rasul Sallallahu into it, then we are going wrong. Where the science is saying something totally opposite, and Rasul Sallallahu is saying this is the right thing, this is the right thing, we don't need to follow the science, we need to follow the life of Rasul Sallallahu. So this is one thing we need to do. Try to get the sunnahs of Rasul Sallallahu into our life. And like I mentioned before as well, that the Sahaba used to do one thing because of it being a sunnah, today we leave it out because of being a sunnah. And that is what is taking us away from the life of Rasul Sallallahu and it is something, open, something, very clear, that the more we go away from the time of Rasul Sallallahu there will be more corruptions, there will be more fitna, there will be more problems. But that shouldn't take us away from implementing the life of Rasul Sallallahu. That shouldn't take us away. Because Isa alayhi salam will come towards the end of time. Isa alayhi salam will come towards Qiyamah. Isa alayhi salam, that is the iman of us, that Isa alayhi salam will come back into this world and he will come towards the end of time. And because it is so far away from the life of Rasul Sallallahu from the time of Rasul Sallallahu I'm sure the problems we have today is nothing compared to the problem that people will have that time. Because that will be the furthest away. And that is when Qiyamah will take place. But what did Rasul Sallallahu say? Isa alayhi salam will be so close to me that Almighty Allah will make him bury me next to me and he will be next to me in Qiyamah as well. So if Isa alayhi salam in that time, have such a life that he will be so close to Rasul Sallallahu then, today in this time and age, can we not do the same thing? Hakim Tirmidhi rahimahullah, this is another person. Imam Tirmidhi rahimahullah is another person. Hakim Tirmidhi rahimahullah is another person. They are totally two different persons. So Hakim Tirmidhi, he was a very great, Hakim, doctor, whatever. So people used to have a clinic, people used to come to him. And Almighty Allah gave him so much beauty Almighty Allah gave him. He was very beautiful. Almighty Allah gave him a lot of beauty. So many ladies used to just come to him just to look at him. Somebody who is so handsome, he said, all the girls are looking from the window. Nowadays you don't only get looking, people they're trying to, date him, which is something totally wrong. So, so Hakim Tirmidhi rahimahullah, people used to actually come to the surgery just to look at him. We've heard he's so beautiful, so let's go and check him out. So one lady, she came and everybody went away. The clinic was just about to close down. It was the closing time for the clinic, and she just stayed there. So Hakim Tirmidhi rahimahullah, he said, I want to close the clinic. What's the problem? So he said, no, I've got a very big problem. I need to tell you inside the room. So she took her. She said, okay. He was feeling a bit uneasy as well. That this lady, and she wants me to take her inside the room. So anyway, he took her inside the room and then she said, lock the door. He said, no, I can't. You tell him? She said, it's very, very private. I need to do something. You have to lock the door. So then he locked the door and then she said, look, the biggest problem for me is that you fulfill my need. That's the biggest problem I've got. So if you want to solve my problem, then do this. So then Hakim Tirmidhi rahimahullah, he said, Shaitan, open the door, chase away. You trying to, make me go into the wrong things. You trying to make me do guna. You trying to make me chase away. And then he closed the clinic, came back home. And then about 20, 30 years later, when he became old, the black hair became white hair. He was a normal person, now he became a grandfather. So when he, 30, 40 years down the line, one day he was making wudu, and he remembered that, that incident, which happened 30, 40 years ago. And he said, I wish I did it with that lady, then I would have done tawbah afterwards, Then I would have just done tawbah afterwards, how many of the youngsters today they say, if we are not going to sin, who's Allah going to forgive? If we're not going to commit sins, who's Allah going to forgive? Many youngsters they say, forgiveness is something like a fire extinguisher. I use that you have a fire extinguisher somewhere down here.